What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Fish the Moment. Recently, we revamped how we do the lake breakdowns on fishthemoment.com. Instead of providing a lake map with circles telling you which areas to fish, we are now providing exact GPS coordinates to 20 offshore structure spots and 20 shallow water stretches that will help you dial in the exact areas you need to be fishing and give you a better idea of the types of areas Randy and I focus on when we go to the lake. The reason we made this change is to give you a more precise recommendation on the areas we would fish, as well as give you the option to download these waypoints directly onto your fish finder and then view these spots on the lake overlaid on top of your mapping in the chart function on any fish finder. Therefore, in this video, we want to explain the 5-step process to take the waypoints that you can purchase on fishthemoment.com and transfer them directly to any fish finder on the market. Let's get into it. After receiving the email from fishthemoment.com, you want to click on the underlined text below the words Digital Downloads. You'll usually say Fish the Moment Lake Breakdown, and then the lake that you purchased it for and the season. Once you click on that text, the folder will automatically be downloaded to the Download section on your computer. Go over to the File Explorer and then find the Download section over here. And once you click Downloads, you'll be able to see the Fish the Moment file that you purchased from the website. Before opening the file, I recommend moving it to another location other than downloads, whether that's your desktop or your documents. This will make it easier to find later and it won't get lost in the download section of your computer. After moving the file from your downloads to either your desktop or your documents, you can double click on the file to open it up and you'll see that there are 4 different files that are included with the Fish the Moment Lake Breakdown. One of the files is a PDF with step-by-step instructions on how to download the waypoints onto your fish finder. We're talking about that in this video, but we also give you graphics and text, which might be an easier way for you to understand this process. We also provide detailed descriptions of every single waypoint that we provide in this breakdown with an area description, the best conditions to fish each area, and lure recommendations. Definitely check out this file before you start using these waypoints. It will definitely make your life a lot easier. Another file will be named Google Earth Pro KML. This is a KML file that is compatible with Google Earth. And if you have Google Earth Pro downloaded on your computer, you can actually view the waypoints within Google Earth by double-clicking on the icon here. If you don't have Google Earth downloaded, it's very easy to install and it's free. I'll leave a link down in the description and a link here on the screen. Just go to that link and then download Google Earth Pro on your computer. Once you do, you can view all of these waypoints within Google Earth with the names and descriptions of the areas. You can see what the cover looks like in the areas we're talking about, the water clarity, the bank angles, all those different things. And it's a great way to get a better sense of what these spots are before you go to the lake. Next, we have a .gpx file. This is the GPS coordinate file for Lowrance and Garmin users. And these are the actual GPS coordinates you're going to be downloading onto your fish finder. In addition, you'll find a folder that says Matrix. These are the waypoint files for Humminbird users. For whatever reason, you need to have that exact file name and format to download waypoints onto a Humminbird unit. So if you own a Humminbird unit, you're going to be using the Matrix file. For Garmin and Lowrance users, you can use that .gpx file here. For step number 3, you're actually going to need an additional piece of hardware to transfer the waypoints from your computer to your fish finder. What you'll need is a micro SD card, specifically a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. For whatever reason, most fish finders are not compatible with SD cards that have a storage capacity above 32 gigabytes. This means if you have one that's a 64 gigabyte or 128 gigabyte SD card, it will not work for this process. You can use one that's smaller than that, but the one I recommend is this 32 gigabyte micro SD card. I'll leave a link in the description, and you can find it here on Amazon. You're also going to need an SD card reader, and most laptop computers come standard with an SD card reader in the side of them, but not all desktop computers do. Therefore, you might need to purchase an SD card reader adapter that plugs into the USB port on the side of your computer or in your desktop computer. They're very cheap. They're like $7 or $8, and you can find them again on Amazon. I'll link one here. It's basically just like a thumb drive that has a slot where you can plug in the SD card. Once you have the micro SD card as well as the SD card reader, all you need to do is plug the SD card reader into your computer and then plug the SD card into that. Once you've done that, you should be able to find the SD card within the This PC section of a Windows computer or in the File Finder app or on the desktop of a Mac computer. It usually will be named USB drive or removable disk drive F. You can usually find it pretty easily. It'll just pop up, and even when you plug it in, it might open up a brand new file window like you see here. Step number 4 is to copy the GPS coordinate file that you got from fishthemoment.com and paste it into the SD card drive that you just plugged into your computer. For Hummingbird users, you're going to want to go over to the file that you got from fishthemoment.com, right-click on the matrix folder, hit copy, and then go over to the SD card drive and then paste that file by right-clicking and hitting paste, and then you'll be able to see that the matrix file is now in the SD card. This has saved those waypoints on the SD card, and if you pull the SD card out of your computer, those files will be actually saved on that card. For Lowrance and Garmin users, the process is almost exactly the same, except for instead of copying the matrix folder, you're going to want to copy the GPX file. All you need to do again is right-click on that file, hit copy, then go over to the SD card drive you plugged into your computer, right-click in that drive, click paste, and that will paste the GPX file onto the SD card. Again, once you remove that card, those GPX or GPS files will be saved onto that card, and you can now plug that into your fish finder and transfer all those waypoints onto your fish finder. The final step in this process is to take the SD card out of your computer and plug it into your fish finder. Now, not every single fish finder is going to have an SD card slot, but I would say that most fish finders above $700 will. It's usually going to be in the bottom right corner or in the very center bottom part of the fish finder. Once you find your SD card reader slot, you're going to open it up and you're going to plug in the SD card into that slot. This is the same place you would plug in a Navionics or a LakeMaster mapping card. Now, again, not every single SD card reader is going to be the same. Sometimes you're going to have to use the big SD card adapter that comes with your micro SD card, and that's what you might use on the Hummingbird Solix unit as well as on Garmin units and Lowrance units. But on some of the Lowrance units as well as some of the Hummingbird units, they actually use the micro SD card reader. That's the smaller card, and that's why I recommend getting the 32 gigabyte micro SD card instead of a regular SD card, because not all units are going to be able to take the bigger SD card. They might need that micro one, the small one. Once you have inserted that card into the fish finder, what will happen is that you're either going to get a prompt on your screen when you turn on your fish finder, like you will on some of the Hummingbird and some of the Garmin units. And once this happens, you're going to get the option to import all waypoints from your SD card. You can just hit yes, I want to import it, and that will bring all the waypoints directly onto your fish finder, and you can now view them over the chart on the fish finder. Just go to the chart view and you'll be able to actually view the waypoints numbered 1 through 40 with the name of what the spot is. However, if you plug the SD card in your fish finder, turn it on, and don't get the prompt to upload the waypoints, what you'll need to do is navigate to the nav data or the waypoints menu on your fish finder. This will happen if you have a Hummingbird Solix unit or an HDS unit from Lowrance and even some of the Garmin units. Just go to the nav data or the waypoint section in the settings menu of your fish finder, and then you'll be able to find an option to import waypoints from an SD card. Just go to the import option and then follow the prompts, and you should be able to easily import the waypoints from your SD card onto the fish finder. A lot of times the data file will either be named the name that you see on the computer, like Kentucky Lake Fall spots, for example, or if you have a Hummingbird unit, it might say hwr.data or something like that. Either way, once you agree to import the waypoints, again, they will show up on your map, on your fish finder. Just go to the chart view, go to your lake, you'll be able to see all those waypoints directly on your fish finder. When you get to the lake, you can drive over them, see them overlaid on the Navionics map, and see the exact spots that Randy and I would be checking out if we were on the lake. And that's all there is to it. It's a pretty simple 5-step process, but for those who are not that familiar with computers, it might be a little bit confusing, so I recommend rewatching the video a few times. And also, if you are confused, I will be providing a PDF file with exact instructions on how to complete this process with pictures and words, if that is easier for some people. And it will have a little bit different explanation as well that might resonate better with you if you didn't understand the process in this video. In that PDF file, we're also going to provide descriptions of all of the areas that we create GPS points for, explaining the best conditions as well as the best baits to use in each of these areas. In that PDF file, we'll also include a summary of the lake, an overview of how the environmental factors are specific to that lake and how it affects the fishing, as well as 5 key points you need to keep in mind that are specific to that fishery based on our knowledge of the fishery. We try to make these breakdowns as comprehensive and detailed as possible, and we believe by adding the GPS coordinate element, it's going to make them even more effective for you when you take them out in the lake and try to use them. These are a great way to learn a new fishery if you are new to bass fishing or new to a lake in general, and they're also a great way to find some new areas and new patterns you may have not tried on your lake, even if you fished it for 10 or 15 years. Again, if you're interested in these Fish the Moment lake breakdowns, check them out on fishthemoment.com. If you've already purchased one, we really appreciate your support and wish you best luck on the water. So thanks for checking out this video, and we'll see you all in the next one.